you worry about the relationship. Don't you worry about the job. All things work together for good for them that love God. Yes, yes. I wonder if I got a witness in here that knows that you know I wouldn't be here now if it had not been for the Lord on my side. Where would I be? Where would I be? Slap your neighbor high five and tell them all things. Forget the Dear John letter. All things. Forget the pink slip. All things. Forget the repossession notice. All things. Forget the foreclosure. All things. Forget the doctor's report. All things. Yeah. Lord have mercy. I gotta close here. Somebody don't believe you. Shake your neighbor on the shoulder and tell your neighbor, I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know if your bills are paid. I don't know if your husband, wife, significant other, baby boo, or whoever is acting up or not. Don't know, Lord have mercy, what's happening on your job. I don't know what your situation is like, but one thing I do know. Tell them, look them in the eye and tell them all things work together for good if you love God and are called according to his purpose. Now tell him, if I were you, I'd change my invitation from that pity party and I'd have me a praise party. If I were you, I'd give God some glory for what God has already done and for what God is getting ready to do. I give him glory because all things, yeah. I really still feel like preaching, but I'm gonna quit because y'all ain't ready for me to keep on going. But you ought to tell somebody all things. But Pastor, you don't know my situation. I just feel like walking on my new steps. You don't know my situation. I do know your God. I wish I had somebody in here. I do know your God. You know who I'm talking about. Been here before Ben here got there. And when Ben here leave there, he'll still be there. I do know your God, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last, the Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Zeta, Eta, Theta, Iota, Kappa, Lambda, Mu, Nu, Xi, Omicron, Pi, Rho, Sigma, Tau, Upsilon, Phi, Chi, Psi, and Omega. I do know your God. I do know Jehovah Jireh, the provider. I do know Jehovah Nisi, your banner. I do know Adonai, the Lord. I do know Jehovah Tishkanu. I do know your God. And the one thing I know about your God is there's nothing that is impossible with your God. And so maybe today there might be somebody right here who's who's feeling like your situation was beyond the point of no return, or who is feeling like maybe it wasn't beyond the point of no return, but who has settled into a period of acceptance. And see, that's what the enemy wants us to do. He wants us just to accept where we are, that this is the way it's going to be. Just learn how to be content and comfortable with that. Now, let me help you here, because I know somebody's going to challenge me theologically and say, well, Pastor, the Bible does say, Paul did say, I've learned, and come on, and no matter what state I am in, therewith to be content. Paul was dealing with the persecution that was going on in his life. And see, if you live for the Lord, you will have persecution. If you live, you will have persecution. And you got to learn how to be content in times of adversity. It did not say be content in mediocrity. It did not say be content in substandard living. It did not say be content in living beneath your privilege. And the enemy has duped many of us to a point of settling and thinking that this is it. This is the utopia. This is the top. This is where I'm going to be, and I'm just going to accept that. No, you cannot accept that, because God has more for you than where you are now. I don't know about you, but you see, I dream some outrageous dreams. I think outrageous things, because the Bible said, as a man thinks, so is he. And you've got to think bigger than where you are. Oh, y'all ain't going to help me in here. I don't think of Spring of Hope as what I see every Sunday. Y'all have to understand, that's not what I see. That's what some of y'all see. But I'm seeing beyond that. Y'all ain't going to help me in here.